All right. Yes, it's on. I can tell people in the back are actually paying attention. Good afternoon. Welcome to Build Tuesday afternoon, Monday afternoon. Wow, it's gone fast. Yeah. In some ways. My name is Chuck Friedman. I run product for our browser technologies. That includes Edge, our platform for the web, as well as our F12 tools. Today what we're going to cover is sort of a brief overview of the history that led to this moment. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about the customers that have inspired us. We're going to have 3 deep dive sections. I'm going to have Olya come up to the stage and talk about the user experience and Fluent and where we're going with the UI. I'm going to have Colleen come up on the stage and talk about our enterprise solution. And then I'm going to come back and talk about privacy and trust. And then we will end with a call to action, but just a quick preview of that. It's going to be, please go download the Dev or Canary branch. And before we get started, I would actually love to see a show of hands. How many people in the room have downloaded one of the preview versions of Edge? Awesome. Thank you. Please continue to send feedback. Those of you that haven't, please download it. And I'll say that again at the end. All right. So to summarize our new approach, and I think this has been covered at least 3 times in different sessions already, as well as much written about. So what I'm going to try to do is actually give a little bit of the insight in terms of how it felt within the team. So we made a big move in the fall. We announced it in December that we're going to move to the Chromium code base, and we're going to build Edge on top of that code base. And there was a bunch of benefits that were very much customer driven, that were quite clear from the start. The ability to deliver across all versions of Windows, huge benefit. The ability to ship frequently. The ability to go cross-platform, so go wherever our customers are. And that part sort of made the first part of the discussion relatively straightforward. But there's another piece of it that was sort of the insider view of it as well, which is many of the developers on the team were committed to building platform. And we were in this state where we were sort of chasing the Chromium project. And one of the beauties of being able to, of adopting Chromium is suddenly we shifted from a chase state to a state where we can actually start contributing and innovating in the web in a meaningful way. And that actually sort of lifted the entire team's spirit. It was actually sort of this awesome moment for the team. And so, like one of the common questions that we get when we're saying, hey, you guys are adopting Chromium, like don't you know that you're going to benefit other Chromium browsers? And the answer is yes, and actually we're excited about it. It actually puts us in a position to really benefit the web and all of our customers. And so that was a sort of a huge moment. And the timeline for this, we spent the majority of last summer sort of in evaluation phase. And then we had a big disclosure moment in December 6th. And starting right after that disclosure moment, we started to contribute to the project. And we actually were sort of strategic and thoughtful about what we wanted to contribute. Since then, we have contributed, I think it's over 400 pull requests that have been accepted. We've spent a lot of time focusing on things like accessibility. We have sort of dug in on places where we have unique skills or in-depth knowledge of the Windows code base around things like smooth scrolling. And we actually feel great about our ability to contribute. And frankly, the Chromium community has been welcoming as well. And so that has been fantastic. And then we had this moment in April that sort of, I think all of you as developers can relate to. There's this moment where you say, okay, I think I'm ready to start to show the world what it is that we've created. It's sort of that artist reveal moment. And we were nervous. I mean, honestly, it was sort of one of these where like, look, we feel like we've done everything that we need to do in order to have the basic browser out there. It was sort of a, set expectations around this is going to be about fundamentals. But we really didn't know what to expect. And so, you can imagine all of the engineering team in Redmond sitting there with Twitter loaded and just, constantly watching. And I have to say, it actually is feeling pretty good right now. We know that we've got a lot of work to do, but frankly, the greeting that many of you gave us and the feedback that we've gotten so far actually feels quite positive. We've sort of I feel good, I guess, about the way that the initial set of work has been accepted or received. We do feel like we have more work to do. There's lots of questions about why Edge and what are we going to do to differentiate. But in terms of getting the fundamentals right and the feedback that we were getting, that actually has come through loud and clear. And so this moment today, where there's been a whole lot of coverage of what we're doing inside Edge, was really the moment where we said, okay, we're going to start talking about what's going to come next. What are we going to do that is going to differentiate or that is going to have a unique point of view about the Edge project? Now, this is sort of the metaphor for where the team's head is at. We feel good about where we've gotten so far. We know that we are down the path, but we are still deep in the forest. And we have a long way before we get to where we want to go. I was having a conversation with somebody in the crowd earlier saying, hey, you guys are announcing these new features. It seems like you've got a pretty good browser. Why are you announcing these new features? And from our point of view, we have a good starting point, but we have to deliver on something that actually gives users a unique reason to choose Edge as a browser. And we feel like we've gone out and started to have the conversations with customers that have given us insights that will help us address the next several years' worth of problems. And by moving to Chromium, we feel like we're actually picking up speed on the last several years' worth of problems. So with that, I want to shift to customer. This has actually been sort of ironic. If you've watched the sessions today, I think almost every session I've seen has talked about customer in the middle. I'm also going to talk about customers in the middle. But I'm going to talk about specific customers. And I want to be careful in the way that I describe this, because it's very easy to look at this list and say, oh, they've done sort of traditional Microsoft segmentation. We've actually gone out and talked to humans. So these are humans who fit into developer. And by the way, often developers are also consumers. But we've gone out and talked to consumers. The idea is we're not going to gain the insights that we need just by sitting in our offices and being smart. Yes, there are many people on our team that are quite smart, but really in order to gain insights, we wanted to actually go hear from customers and you sort of watch them do whatever it is that they do on the web, or if they're a developer, when they start a project, and you start seeing little twists or hacks or moments where they grimace a little bit and say, oh, there's opportunities. And what you've seen today so far, and we're going to go into more detail, are all results of those insights that we've gained from having those conversations. So there's 4 groups, and there's even little subcategories that I'll talk about within those groups. Developer, near and dear, actually in this group, I'd be silly not to start with developer, but near and dear to our heart. We care deeply about the developer community. Actually, one of the first pieces of feedback we got was, hey, if you're not on Mac and you want to appeal to web developers, you're just not even in the game. And so we're excited to be able to bring our experience to Mac. We're also excited about the opportunity that we have to develop in conjunction with the VS Code team and the Azure team. And so there's a whole section from 5 to 6 today that's going to cover our plans for developer. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the details in today's session because there's a session at the Sheraton after this where we'll go into that detail. Consumer, there are really 2 groups. First group in consumer. There's a large install base of Edge users. And those users tend to be users who are lower confidence in terms of sort of their tech enthusiasm. And so they're happy with the browser that has come with Windows, and we cannot alienate them as we migrate to this new Chromium user experience. But then there's also a set of users that we talk to who are far more pragmatic, far more technically advanced, and they will pick up whatever new technology is out there. They will try it, and if it works for them, they're willing to embrace it. Those are the users that we want to be able to attract to actually grow our user base. And so we've talked to both of those sets of users, the first to make sure that we're not going to do something that scares them off, and then the second set who are trying to do new, different things with the web. And in taking those steps, they've led to insights that have driven things like collections. And so when you see the collections experience, which I think has been shown at least 3 times today, those insights came from what are people trying to do where it's awkward for them on the web. Similarly with enterprise, there are 2 groups. Group one inside the enterprise is the IT manager. They care a lot about security. They care a lot about consistency. They don't want support calls coming to their desk. And then you have knowledge workers or end users in enterprises who want the tools to work smoothly and don't like it when they have to jump back and forth between browsers. Or if they're going to use a web application, they just want it to work for them, and then for the browser that they're in to feel familiar. And then finally, education, which is a sort of a strategic bet for Microsoft, an area where we've spent significant time looking at both what can we do to make a classroom environment great and make teaching easier, but also how can we drive better outcomes for students. And so that broad set of conversations has led to at least the first round of features that we are now driving into the new edge. When we went out and talked to customers, there were three themes that were consistent across all of them. The first one was the sense that the internet is overwhelming. People would start off trying to accomplish a task, and they would find themselves watching cat videos. Now, there's nothing wrong with watching cat videos. I like watching cat videos too. But when you set out with an intention to get something done, the internet has gotten quite good at sort of taking you on a path. And they're asking for tools to sort of reduce that. Or if I've started a project, how do I pick that back up without having to leave 50 tabs open? And so there's an interesting set of opportunities that we discovered around how do we simplify and help users stay in the flow. Second, and this one actually was almost embarrassing from a Microsoft standpoint. The productivity of the web, when you're trying to get things done, has reached a new level of friction because people don't use one website to accomplish something anymore. They want multiple websites. And then they want those websites to start to interact with the productivity tools that they use. And right now, that is largely hard. And this is sort of core to Microsoft, right? We're good at productivity, and yet we haven't addressed this issue. And so again, collections is a great example of one of the insights that we gained. We think we have good opportunity here to actually reduce the disjointedness or the friction and keep users productive. And then privacy. The strongest signal that we had around privacy was actually from Tech Elite. Tech Elite get how much of their information is broadly available on the web. But if you talk to sort of the average consumer, the average user, this is an increasing level of concern for them. They're aware, and they see articles written about it. I'm going to go into depth in terms of what our thinking is here. But I'll say this as a sort of a tease for the conversation later. There's this promise of the web around it being open access to information. And we all benefit from it. We love that. You don't even have to remember things anymore. You can just look it up on the web. It's instantaneous. But the exchange, the price of the web right now is the web has open access to your information. And the level of control that most users have for that particular issue is out of whack or out of balance with what a customer would expect. And the more you start talking to them, particularly customers who haven't spent a lot of time looking at the web, the more uncomfortable they get. And we actually think that this is a global societal issue that we need to address broadly as an industry. But more on that at the end. This is another theme of the day. Historical Microsoft and the way that we build software. We often put our own software in the middle. And if you've been watching any of the talks today, you will notice the theme of the customer in the middle. I want to spend a little bit of time on this slide just to sort of describe the process that we were using. I kind of look at this as, the fact that you're here, there's a level of insiderness that all of you are curious about. And so I actually kind of want to share the process we're using for putting the customer in the center. It starts literally by going out and having the conversations that I described. And as we sort of pick up on signal from customers, we try to articulate that as a problem statement or as a hypothesis problem. And then once we understand what that problem is, we will actually try to articulate it back and validate it. And so we will actually listen to customers' responding to the problem that we've identified. And when they finally start to say, yeah, and you know what, that really bugs me, then we know that we've got a good problem. The next step is looking at multiple solutions. Now, historically, we might have just picked one, prototyped it, shipped it, revved it. Actually, instead, what we're trying to do in the web technology, and frankly, the new move to being able to ship every day, by the way, like shipping every day, awesome discipline. Like the fact that we've shipped dev every day, that we've shipped Canary every week, it's like a revelation for the team. But it enables us to do rapid prototyping and delivering those prototypes out, get feedback from customers, adjust. And you can actually do multiple of them. Now, this sounds basic, but for a browser that has been part of an operating system, this is actually a huge step forward. And so we actually feel great about our ability to prototype multiple options, validate different ideas, and that's the process that we are using to define the features that you've seen so far and that you'll see again in the future. With that, I want to start the first of the deep dive areas. So I'm going to invite Olya up to the stage. She's going to talk through our user experience.
Hi, everyone. So I work on Core UX, and I'll share what's going on here that's common to all 4 audiences that Chuck talked about, and a couple of things that are specific to consumer and education. So a big part of our new journey with Edge will be investing heavily in the user experience and trying to solve some of these problems that we consistently hear about so that your browsing can become simpler and more productive. Now, your feedback in particular will play a key role here in our attempts because most of you are at the intersection of all those 4 audiences. So I'm curious, raise your hand if any of you have already sent feedback on the preview builds of Edge. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And for the rest of you, please try them out as well and give us more feedback. Okay, so for the browser experiences, you'll hear what we evolved, what you can expect us to retain, and the new things that are coming. All right, so in the core experience, you can see Edge following established browser conventions, hopefully comfortable and familiar, so that it's easy to focus on your task no matter what browser you're coming from. And it gives us a solid baseline to start adding those UX improvements. So the first evolution that you see here is the new tab page. Now, we all spend so much time on the web today. The new tab page is what you see with every task. And so you deserve for this page to be more than just utilitarian, but also be a pleasant environment, maybe add some joy to your day. So we give you a fresh new image every day from Bing's collection of beautiful imagery, and hopefully you can enjoy it, not be too distracted by it, and then go on with your task. Now, we learned from the in-market version of Edge that one size does not fit all with the new tab page. For example, there are very different opinions on the subject of news on the new tab page. As you can see from these quotes, we have some customers who rate Edge 5 stars specifically because of news, and we have a lot of feedback from people who feel what's in the news is upsetting or it's distracting from what they're trying to do. And that goes to Chuck's point of the overwhelming amount of information on the web is not always welcome. So now you have a choice of layouts on your new tab page. So in the top right corner, there's a drop-down, and you can select the informational layout if you want to stay informed and entertained in the course of your browsing. And here you can personalize the topics. So I've selected science and technology, and those are the stories that show up in my feed. Now there's the focused layout if you find even the image distracting and you just want to focus on your next destinations. And the inspirational layout is a balance. You can enjoy a beautiful image, get to your next task quickly, but during a break or at night, catch up on what's new, just scroll up and the news is right at your fingertips. Now, you can pick different layouts for personal and work browser profile. So Colleen will be talking later about the enterprise and will show you what's coming specifically for work on the new tab page. So more customization options are coming in general. So please continue sending us feedback on what you like. And how these options are working for you. All right, so the design language and the look and feel of the browser are also evolving. Within Market Edge, you might have seen us starting to apply elements of the Microsoft Fluent design system, and which itself is evolving too. Now, with the next version of Edge, we also did a bunch of customer research exploring different visual directions, seeing what people respond to positively. So let me show you how we're continuing to apply Fluent and those customer learnings. So we have softer, rounded corners for a more organic shape. That's a Fluent evolution you will start seeing in more places. There are elements that pull forward with shadow and depth to focus attention and provide hierarchy. Icons on commands across the board help you with better recall. And you'll see the Fluent navigation patterns help better organize and break down information, and that's in settings, favorites, history. Now, there's still a lot more work to do for Fluent, like connected animations, light, color, and material like acrylic, so we will be working on that in the next few months. So these were some examples of what we evolved, and now here are things that you can expect us to retain. So accessibility, it's a big deal for Microsoft as part of our mission to empower every person. So last summer, the in-market Edge was the only browser that got 100% on the HTML5 accessibility browser benchmark. Now, with the next version of Edge, we are committed to get to that level again and more. So here's an example of our high contrast work in progress. We're doing work for narrator, UIA support, improvement to keyboard navigation, and so on. And we're hoping to contribute all of this back to the Chromium project so that more browser users can benefit. Okay, so education is another area of heavy investment for Edge, and you will see that coming over. So, for example, to make content easier to focus on during learning, you can see this same page with Reading View. You can also change the background for Reading View to make reading more comfortable for you. Now, we're also bringing over learning tools that help students, for example, with dyslexia, focus issues, eye strain, read better. So this is line focus, word spacing, and highlighting each word as the browser reads. And for any web page, whether it's in Reading View or not, you can use the Read Aloud feature to have the browser read the content to you. Now, we got a bunch of feedback that it was difficult to listen to for long periods of time. The synthesized voice had these weird intonations, didn't pause between phrases. But now we're adding natural voices from the Azure speech services based on machine learning. And here is an example that you can already try out today in the builds with a feature flag.
Musings upon the whys and wherefores of polar bears, particularly in relation to their forest-dwelling cousins, played an important but often overlooked role in the development of evolutionary theory.
So to me, this sounds much more like a real person speaking, pausing at the right places, doing the right intonation. And that means you can have long articles read to you and have the browser be useful to you, even while you're doing something else in parallel. So these were features that we are retaining or creating that might be particularly interesting for education. And now I want to get back to the more general features of Edge that we are working to retain. So we are hearing a bunch of feedback on features that people miss from the in-market version of Edge in the preview builds today. And so these are the ones that are already on the roadmap. Now, for example, you'll see dark theme, and you can actually try that out with a feature flag, and it's going to release pretty soon. Now, we also have a set of things that people ask for where we'd like to take a little bit more time and try to solve the underlying user problem in the right way. Like, we believe there's a real user problem with, say, tab management, but we want to incorporate the feedback that we've heard on these over time and try to address some of the reasons why people weren't using them as much as we had hoped originally. So please keep telling us things that you miss and what you miss about them. So we know many of you also want to customize your browser with extensions. So there's a lot of feedback from people wanting ad blockers, password managers, and so on. So the extensions that you count on will work in Microsoft Edge, and if they don't, that's a bug we need to fix. Now, you can get these extensions from the Microsoft Store, and there will be more of them there because we made it easier for developers to submit extensions. There's no more pre-approval process. You can upload the exact same package you can submit for other Chromium-based browsers, and it works cross-platform. And if you don't find the extension that you want, Edge, now based on Chromium, supports downloading extensions from other Chromium-based stores. Okay, so you might be asking at this point, well, what's new? Why should I use Edge? And so this goes to one of those consistent themes that we heard from customer research. It was about collecting and comparing information on the web. It can be somewhat overwhelming and disjointed today, and you have probably experienced what customers are saying here in those quotes, having to keep too many tabs open or doing other weird workarounds to try to keep track of what you've collected. And how do you share it with people? So there's just not enough tools today for people to do this smoothly in the browser, in the flow. So we're building the new feature called Collections. You've already seen it demoed maybe at the keynote. This is not part of the public builds yet, but let me show you what it's going to look like. So let's say we'll open the Collections pane, and inside your keynote, you have seen how Collections can help with shopping. So for example, you can collect cameras to compare. Important information about them is automatically extracted. You can look at them and make a shopping decision. Now, Collections can also help in a travel scenario. So let's say you're traveling to the Build conference and trying to figure out what you want to see in Seattle. So let's say you've already collected some things you want to see in this collection. Now, the build site also mentioned this Chihuly Glass Museum, so you look it up. It looks really neat, so you're going to add it to your collection. Now, in fact, it looks so neat, you want to go look at it first so you can drag it up to the top of your collection. Now, you can also use Collections to refer back to the things you collected. So in this case, I'll click on the Pike Place Market and go look at what time does it close, can I get to it after the conference? And you can make a note on that directly in your collection so that you don't have to refer to this site again, and you can just look at your collection. All right, now, once you're at Build, let's say you're hearing and learning interesting things. So maybe in the Edge talk, Olya mentioned this Azure Speech Services and text-to-speech and natural voices. So maybe you want to actually use that API in your own program. So you can drag some information from the article. You can drag text. If you see a graphic that explains how this works and it's really cool, you can drag images into your collection. And this way you can continue to collect interesting things throughout the conference. Later, let's say you want to write about what you saw and what you learned. And so in this drop-down, you can see you can email, copy, or export to Excel or Word. So let's say I'm going to try to export to Word so that I can start writing my post, and all the information from the collection is there, and it even includes the links and references back to the information. So as you can see, Collections can help you with shopping, travel, web research, and accumulating and assembling content, and then you can refer back to it, export, and share it. So please send us your feedback on Collections once they show up in the builds in the next few months. All right, now we recognize that your browsing experience does not stop at the desktop or laptop. On mobile, you should be able to continue seamlessly, and actually Edge has already been out on Android and iOS. Now, with the move to Chromium, we are working to connect your desktop and your mobile experiences better together. So, for example, your data will sync. We're starting with Favorites Sync. That's releasing soon. And other data types will follow. And over time, you'll see other experiences that I talked about today show up on mobile as well. And if you are a Mac user or you prefer to develop on the Mac, you shouldn't have to take extra steps to see what your work will look like in Edge. So you will soon have Edge on the Mac too, and it's tailored to the platform. And here are some things that we've done to make Edge feel at home on the Mac. So here's Edge on the Mac. We follow macOS conventions. We will experiment with close buttons on the left for tabs. Other button positioning in dialogues is correct. You will see Mac fonts, Mac-style menus, Mac keyboard shortcuts. The touch bar on the keyboard shows the open tabs that you currently have and makes it easy to flip through them and quickly find the tab that you need. And you can also use the touch bar to scrub through videos when you're watching something in Edge. We are working on bringing the dark mode to Mac as well as to Windows. And your dev tools that are available in Windows will be there on the Mac too. So you'll have everything you need to develop for Edge on the Mac. Now, the web platform session at 5 p.m. today will tell you more about dev tools and the platform capabilities in general. But we want to make Edge great for you regardless of the platforms or the devices that you use. So okay, I talked about core experiences in general across audiences, what we evolved, what we're working to retain, and what's new. So please come to our booth, share your feedback on the browser experience, and try out the Mac builds. And now I will turn over to Colleen, who will talk specifically about Edge in the enterprise. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. My name is Colleen Williams, and I'm a program manager on the Edge team. I've been on the team since IE9, so to say that I have seen things is an understatement. It's awesome to talk about Edge in the enterprise and a focus on this with our new browser. So the internet is vast. Awesome, I just told you there's a lot of sites on the internet, great. So what can we do to help you with that? How can we help the browser be and have all of that stuff that's coming at you be a little bit more efficient for you? The two browser experience, this is the need for the backwards compatibility, and then you need a modern browser for modern sites. This is tough to manage, and it's very confusing to the user. Wait, I was in Edge, now I'm in IE, I have two browsers open, what do I do? And the user has to think through that, so how can we help with that process? Daily workflows. How can the browser help everyone be more efficient and productive? And lastly, security. So security, there's no question. The fundamentals, it has to be there. Your stuff has to be secure at all times. So we want Microsoft Edge to be the easiest and most natural for you to deploy and use. In particular, if you've invested in Microsoft 365, with Office, Intune, Windows, Edge is just going to slide right in and make that experience even better for you and will be the best browser. Edge will automatically sign you in with AAD. It will work well with SCCM and Intune. And of course, the best security with Smart Screen, Microsoft Information Protection, and Application Guard. So if you've deployed all of that goodness, Edge is going to slide right in and make it even better. So to start with security, fundamentals is an absolute must. Smart Screen will continue to be built in the new Edge. We will support Microsoft Information Protection at a later time. And Application Guard will also be available. So Application Guard treats sites on the enterprise list as trusted, and other sites will be put in a separate container. This feature shipped in Win 10 RS5 and above, and will be coming to the new Edge. So rest assured, you can watch all of your puppy pictures, and your rest of your network and your team will not go down. Multiple profiles are here. We heard this feedback consistently. So what was happening where people would have multiple browser tabs or browser instances at the bottom, because one would be signed in with their work and one would be signed in with their personal. So now that we have multiple profiles all in the browser, you can see personal, work. No need to move back and forth. Your favorites and settings and history will roam with your profile, so you can sit at any computer, log into Edge, and all of your information is there. Microsoft accounts are supported right now, and AAD is coming very soon. Now, as much as we love PowerPoint slides and me not clicking forward while I'm talking, let's go ahead and switch over and talk about show a demo of some of these features. Okay, so the Enterprise New Tab page. So Olya touched on this earlier for her section, and I'm going to talk about it specifically from the enterprise space. People work on the same set of things day to day, week to week, same people, documents, what have you. I myself live in the browser, not just because I work on it, but PowerPoint, Office web apps, vacation balance, my financial to see when I can retire. So when you open a new tab in the browser, you're there to do a task. So Edge is there to make that task easier and more efficient. So if you start at the top, you'll see the Contoso name and icon. So this is a corporate image, and so IT admins can customize that with your particular area. Then you've got the search box next to that, and the search box is with Microsoft Search, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Right below the search box, one moment, please. Right below the search box, what you have here is this is all your Office 365 stuff. So when I said it's going to be best for Microsoft stuff, this is where it comes in. So powered by the Office Graph. So you have you can collaborate very, very easily right here. You don't have to email your coworker where you just left that meeting saying, hey, can you share that Excel spreadsheet? It can be done right here. And then below, so while the other stuff up above is powered with the AI and Office Graph, this stuff down here is a little bit more tactical. So these are all of your Office apps that you have visited recently. You've got Pin, Shared With Me, Discover, so on and so forth. So this is all customizable by the IT admin as well as the end user. And I know this audience very well, and I know if this doesn't work with you, you will provide us feedback. So please let us know if this helps your area be a little bit more productive and efficient. Remain focused. So when I said we were going to talk about Microsoft Search, we're going to do that now. So I need to find my coworker Adele. Now, as much as I love Adele's music and her songs, I'm working right now. I must remain focused. So I'm going to go down here to Adele Vance, and you can see there's a retail manager as her title. On the far right, it has the work results. So this, we'll click on that. So you can see here, this is all within your own area. This is owned by your corporation. It is not shared with Bing, but again, this is Office 365 powered by Microsoft Graph coming into play here. You've got the name, email address, information, schedule, right down below, groups, sites, files, teams. So you have all of your information right here. So this is a way where we can mix the internet and work results at the same time, and you don't have to do anything different or go to any different sites to do that. Okay, now Internet Explorer mode. So let's take a step back and talk about the two-browser experience. There are two pieces of feedback we receive consistently. The two-browser experience is jarring. You're in one browser, then you're in the next browser. The other piece of feedback we're receiving is enterprises are making IE11 or have had IE11 be their default browser. And what that means is they're coding for IE11 with new projects in the year 2019. So that's not going to work super well. And so we want to make sure we can move people forward with modern browser, take advantage of all the HTML5 goodness, smooth scrolling, accessibility, what have you. So if we look at how it is now, so we've got Edge open here, so MS Expense, this is a real tool. I need to chart my expenses, so check can approve it. And I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what happens is IE now pops open. So I'm now in that two-browser experience. What also is happening is the user is staying in IE11. So they'll stay there because, why not? They're hanging out. They're doing their web stuff. But then they're going to come across a site that's not going to work very well in IE11, and then it just gets confusing. So again, the user has to decide what to do. So this is where, and we've heard feedback from you folks very consistently, this is where we wanted to talk about Internet Explorer mode. So going back, all right. So let's go back into our search box here and type vacation. So I'm going to look at the vacation balance that's available to me at Microsoft. I'd love to pick the vacation packages, but I can't do that until after this conference. So we've got vacation balance, and again, this is Microsoft Search, so you can see the work results at the end. I'm in one browser instance, one tab. I'm going to click that, and I'm in the same browser instance in the same tab. So what you can see from here is, and there's no back and forth, you can see the IE11 icon in the address bar. Design isn't final, but we'll have a way to denote that the user is in IE. This is very seamless. The user shouldn't feel that anything has happened. You can tell that this site is not a modern site. This site, as we were doing reviews, there was quite a bit of feedback that this is a really ugly site and we shouldn't show it, and that is exactly the point. Because every company has sites like this. And it just needs to work. Your daily work needs to continue. You need to move forward. And so this is how we're going to continue to make it work. Now, if I were to go into and open up a new tab, I'm back in the new edge. If I go back and type maybe Bing, I'm back in the new edge. And the reason for that is the IE mode is powered by the enterprise mode site list. So this is a tool that we shipped in IE11 many years ago. And so this allowed IT admins to denote what sites needed dock modes, ActiveX controls, whatever it is. And so that tool, all of your work accrues to the new edge, and so that's how you'll be able to note that the sites need to go into IE mode. And this is a native experience, so ActiveX controls will be supported, dock modes, polyfills, so we want this to go ahead and help bring you back into a modern browser experience. This feature will work where IE11 is currently supported. We're targeting this feature and other enterprise-focused features, such as group policy and management with Intune, later on this year. All right. Lastly, mobile support. So while Olya talked about mobile support, from the enterprise perspective, feedback was very clear. There needs to be a consistent experience regardless of platform. I'm on my desktop, then I'm going to get on the bus, and I'm on my phone. And so we want to make sure that that is also as seamless as it can be. Multiple profiles is already there on mobile. I think it shipped a few months ago. Enterprise new tab page is coming soon, along with Microsoft Search. You can install the apps, the mobile apps via the MS Edge Insider channel right now and try them out. That is it for my enterprise story, and I'm going to give it back to Chuck.
That was awesome. Hopefully you all got a sense of where we're headed in the user experience space and in the enterprise space. As I mentioned earlier, I want to finish with one more deep dive around privacy and trust. This is probably the loudest signal that we got when we went out and talked to customers. I mean, there was a different version with each different customer group, but I just think that the sort of global consciousness around this as a topic has reached a point where we as an industry need to do something. And so as I sort of wade into this space, I want to kind of start by saying this is something that we actually see at a global societal level, where we're hoping to work closely with the other browser makers, the publishers, the advertising industry, and that this is something that we collectively need to help solve for the internet and for our customers, because they're asking for it. When we talk to the customers, It usually starts with, hey, I'm sort of uncertain who has my data and what they're doing with it. And then some of them will say, look, I don't mind ads. In fact, when they're relevant, it's great. But every once in a while, something kind of creeps me out. I'm seeing some people nod their heads, so you guys all get what this ends up feeling like. And then for many users, there's this sense of almost helplessness of what to do. And that gets augmented when they start reading, frankly, a variety of sources. I happen to pick New York Times, a Kara Swisher article, and something from Snopes. But articles like this or clips like this get published almost every day. And it leads to a further sense of hopelessness and, frankly, a lack of control in people's sense of the web. And that's not okay. There's too much promise, there's too much goodness. And so we've started a thought experiment for ourselves as a team, and we used what seems to be a very popular model, the Hippocratic Oath. Everybody sort of understands what a Hippocratic Oath is. I've seen versions of Hippocratic Oaths for developers, for designers, for doctors, obviously. We started with a thought experiment of what does a Hippocratic Oath look like for the web? What are the promises that we would make and that we would hope that we could make as an industry? And it started with control. We feel like users should feel like they're in control of their data and that they should have the ability to delete it. And when they say delete it, it's gone. Now, control doesn't mean a lot without transparency. So they should be able to see what information is known about them. That we as an industry need to respect their set of preferences and frankly not collect more data than they would expect us to without some level of a prompt. Now that does not mean that we want to have a prompt every time you hit a new web page. In fact, we think that that is counter to the user. But we do feel like there are times where it's important to let a user know that, hey, we would like some aspect of your information. And then finally, when a user is willing to trust us and actually share information, that we do everything we can to protect it and make sure that people with bad intent don't have access to that information. And so translating that thought experiment into sort of our first pass at a UI led to the UI that we've shown, again, a couple times today. That's the starting point that you'll see us introduce in code for a privacy and security setting page. And the idea, and I'm actually going to show the full scroll of the page so you can see how it sort of maps to our thinking around that Hippocratic Oath concept. The first piece actually starts with some education. We realize that most users don't actually know that they're being tracked. They sort of get a sense of it, and we want to be able to explain it to them. And then we'll give them a site where they can go learn far more. Then there's a sort of the three big sort of buttons, right? Button number one, unrestricted. Hey, we'll protect you from malicious sites. But beyond that, the internet's going to work the way that it works today. And many users, by the way, we expect will choose this setting. It sort of assures a high level of compatibility, and it will give them the personalized advertising that many of them like. Balanced. The goal of balanced, and sort of where our head is at on this, is for sites and trackers that respect that sort of basic element of control and transparency. We would like them to be in the balanced, be allowed under balanced. But if a user isn't in a position to be able to figure out what's known about them or have some level of control, that's where we feel like we should default that to off when a user chooses balanced. And then the third setting to the right, strict, that means no third-party trackers. When a user wants to find out more, so in this case I'm in balanced, and I want to see what are the different trackers that are allowed or that have been allowed, and then what sites are using them. We're actually going to provide that level of detail as well. Now the thing that we're trying to balance here is we've got users who have very little understanding of the web, and we have, frankly, technical experts like many of you who will want to be satisfied with the information we're sharing. And so we're actually trying to find a way to be able to deliver a UI that is comprehensible, that an average user can understand, But then if you're a power user, you should be able to get the information you need and really control it. And so we feel good about this as a first step. There's actually elements of this code that will start showing up in our code base, and then we'll turn it on behind the flag, and then ultimately we'll end up releasing this as it evolves and we get feedback from customers. If you scroll a little bit farther down the page, there's some specifics around in-private browsing. When we went out and talked to customers, there was an immediate question, is to strict equal in private? And we felt like that's a distinct decision that a user should be able to make. And then we get to our own privacy settings. So Microsoft collects data about you as part of you using Microsoft services. We want to make it very easy for you to get to your privacy dashboard associated with Microsoft, and then be able to control things like Defender and security settings on the device. And so this is our starting point for addressing this. Now, I think in our ideal space, this becomes, and frankly, when we've gone out and started our conversations with some of the publishers, this becomes something that we as an industry end up starting to standardize on. Because it actually, by coming to some level of agreement, it actually makes it easier for publishers and for advertisers to have a consistent set of rules. We're not there yet. It's sort of the next step or the go-do that you should expect us to engage in. So that's it for our deep dives. Finally, on a Monday afternoon, as we end, I have 3 calls to action. Call to action number 1. If you haven't gone to our Insider site, please go download. There's actually a fair amount of information there in terms of what's up and coming. And we want to hear from all of you. Number 2, give us feedback. I think you've heard that from each of our sections, that we care quite a bit about the feedback. We've actually made the smiley prominent in the user experience. We're investing heavily in our forum as well, so you will find developers and program managers and designers from the team all on that forum, and it's a good way to engage and offer points of view. And then one of the sort of the reciprocal side of this is, as we learn and as we hear from all of you, we're actually going to share back on what we've learned. And then my final ask, I want you all to take a walk. So the next session on Edge, where we're going to go into the deep dive around the platform and developer tools, is actually across the street over in the Sheraton. So I would like to invite you all to join us over there, get a little Seattle sunshine, which is rare this time of year, but it is beautiful out today. And then finally, come join us at our booth. There's a whole section of people over there from our team that'll be manning the booth that will be excited to have conversations with you. And with that, thank you and have a great build.